nights at the motel under the street lights in the city hall. Call me what you want, you want. And you can call me names, call me up.
Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy. Not me, if you ever cared to ask. Good for you, you're doing great out there without me, baby. Gotta wish that I could do that. I've lost my mind, I've spent the night crying on the floor of my bedroom.
This is going on the YouTube video, James.
Mr. Magic Molly Mall. I let my tape rock to my tape pop. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match.
Buffalo soldier, red like Rasta. It was a buffalo soldier in the heart of America. Cause I know what that girl them need. New York to Haiti. I got lipstick stamps on my passport. Make it hard to live. Been around the world, don't speak the language, but you really don't need explaining. All I really need to understand is when you talk dirty to me.
Link my ting from walking 7 a.m. in the morning. She's calling, I'm yawning. She's jarring, no stalling. I might link my ting from walking 7 a.m. in the morning. She's calling, I'm yawning. She's jarring.
Talk dirty to me.
There are places I remember all my life. Though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone.
いい選手はね。
この選手は沖縄の
米軍の基地の人ね。この人もどっかで優勝してるよね。
そうですね。非常に綺麗なボディラインで、仕上がりももう少しパリッとした感じが欲しいんですよね。
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
All right, ladies, let's turn the face to the back. Face to the front. One more time, let's turn the face to the back.
That's the winner right there.
And let's face to the front. Thank you, ladies.
Fucking killed it.
Take my dinero, she take my dinero. Take my dinero, she playing hella hard. Playing for pesos, she playing hella hard. Playing for pesos. That's just the way it is.
Look at Kristin, what is it?
My very first participation medal. I've never got one of these before.
Oh, God.
But I'm feeling 22. Everything will be alright if you keep me next to you. You don't know about me, but I'll bet
How is it, ladies?
Deserved. I was like, wait, he's not roasting.
In all its glory.
Yep. Post peak week, post show, we're here to kind of give you a good recap of everything that went on.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So this will be our final movie or video, YouTube, whatever this is for this episode. Thank you. Episode for this series, and then we'll have more series that are coming out. But so Kristin, how was peak week?
Peak week was great. I actually felt amazing all week up until so I felt great. I just knew that there were some things that were happening due to travel that I didn't really plan or expect for. As far as not even bloat, but just I guess it was like water retention.
It was, yeah, for
and
sure.
it was all in my glutes. So back up a little bit. Last week, pre-peak week, we carb loaded me Monday and Tuesday, right?
Yep.
So we depleted me Saturday, Sunday, carb loaded Monday, Tuesday. Monday morning, I felt and looked the best ever, which is what we tried to replicate into going to the show. But with walking around in Tokyo one of the days, which I probably shouldn't have done as much as I did, and then with travel on top of that, it just really didn't let my body respond the same way it did earlier that week.
Yeah. The stress that put on her, we carb loaded her with this planning for the travel, planning that we do know that she tends to retain some water whenever she flies. So we planned out her nutrition accordingly. However, the stress, it was just the way it laid out, it was really hard for her to just take downtime needed to let her body deal with that extra stress. And which is like, there's lots of unknowns that we try our best to control and prepare for, but sometimes, it's hard. So she did a lot of walking the day after flying, which I think just added to the amount of kind of water retention within her legs. And then by Friday, you can talk some on Friday too. What was Friday like for you?
So Friday, I felt like the whole time I felt fine. I just knew that I had like that little bit left to tighten up and feel it, because I just didn't feel like I knew I could have felt. Friday, I actually felt pretty good, but I knew I still had room. I actually ended up taking first in Friday's show, which is like my first NPC FWJ win ever. So I left that show feeling on cloud 9, and then all day Saturday I just stayed in bed all day, did my nails, just relaxed, and ate a lot. And yeah, I could feel myself. Emily arrived Friday, which also helped a lot. So she was there for Hailey and I both. Hailey did amazing, by the way.
She did. She blew us
out of the
away.
like night. I still can't even tell you who that was on stage, because it was just. She's meant for the stage. Hailey, you're meant for the stage.
Yeah. Dude, she got up there and it was just like she glided. I don't even know. It was so good. It was so good. It was not at all what she had practiced a lot for us in posing too. So when she stepped on stage, we both were just like, it was so good. She looked amazing. It was her first show ever, so this is her starting point, and I think she's already fired up for what's to come next. So that's what we want with all our girls. So that's a success for us. But yeah, so back to then. So then I arrived on Friday, was able to see the show. By Friday night, I knew that Kristin needed more carbs. She needed to load more. So we had about 20, by the time Friday night, I don't know, it was about 18 hours. It was about 18 hours, I knew, until she would step back on stage, so that we needed to load her. So as soon as she woke up the next morning, we assessed where she was at. She was looking good. However, she still had room to go. So we carbed, and we gave her about 30 grams of carbs every 2 hours, 30 to 40 grams of carbs every 2 hours leading into the show. She did end up coming in. Well, how did you feel you came in for stage?
I still felt like I had a little bit of room left to tighten, fill up, whatever you want to call it, in my glutes, but I felt great. I felt really good. I ended up getting actually first call outs, which made my stage presence amazing. But then it quickly changed. So the majority of what the girls look like on stage is usually what the judges tend to go for, and they really liked glutes. Didn't fall in my favor. Scorecards still haven't been posted, but we've been told that I placed probably 6th out of,
it was like 30 girls.
So which I'm happy with now, but coming off stage I was a little bit bummed. I honestly was in a fog. I didn't even see Emily waiting for me backstage. I just flew right by her. But I mean, it's how the cookie crumbles. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. I didn't lose by any means. But waking up Sunday morning, I came downstairs and I just looked at Emily and I was peaked. I was there. I looked way better than I did Saturday night. Even Monday morning after arriving and flying, I didn't have any water retention, no bloat or anything after eating all the sugar and carbs I stuffed my face with post-show. So yeah, lesson learned. We know that my body's pretty slow, I guess, using what we give it as far as crappy food goes.
Well, we also know that I don't even know if slow is the right way to put it per se, but that it has potential to eat a lot, to use a lot of it. And so it was kind of cool for me because I was like, okay, Kristin, let's go through everything you ate. So like I've had her, so Saturday we listed out everything she ate, Sunday we listed out everything she ate, and even Monday. And so on Saturday night I totaled, or I guess it was Sunday morning by the time I totaled everything she ate on Saturday, and I gave her the numbers and she was like, I really ate that much? And I'm like, yes. And see, so it was really cool for me because it gave us like concrete numbers next time that I can be like, no, Kristin, look, you can eat this much right now in peaking and continue to peak. Like, so it gave us a little bit more confidence to know we really can push her next time. Which is what this is all about. Whenever you have a client and a coach and you're working through getting them on stage, it's really learning the client every time and what they can do.
If I wouldn't have flown, I probably would have felt it sooner. But we already knew that me going into any show and flying, I always, 24 hours after, I'm always super heavy and bloated.
But all in all, so the look that we saw, just for feedback on the show itself, the look that we saw on stage was really lean hamstrings and glutes. Like noticeably, that's what they were focusing on. Definitely still that symmetry between the upper body and the lower body, but it seemed to be that the judges were really prioritizing that leaner glute into hamstring look, which is something that Kristin has great glute shape. And even good shape into her hamstrings. However, I don't think we fully tapped into getting her lean enough through that space to really get what the judges are looking for. So we're gonna
spent a lot of time in turn and face the rear.
A lot of time. Yeah, the judges were definitely checking out the glutes.
There wasn't a whole lot of front posing going on, which is fine. I mean, each show's different. Another thing that was kind of cool and nice and unexpected was that the head judge for this show was actually an American that flew in. So the feedback for that was good. Really, it's just tighter, fuller glutes and actually a darker tan.
We got feedback that she wasn't tanned enough, which is something that's different here than in the States. In the States, when you go and compete, usually there's a tanning company that's right there at the show. So you get a base tan the night before, then you get one the morning of, and then you get touch-ups before you go on stage. Here, they don't do that. They don't have tanning companies at the show. They give you a list of tanning companies that are approved for you to work with, and then you go to them, and they don't ever do tans the day of. You have to do it the day before, at least 24 hours prior. We were told that even though that's the case here, they recommend her getting 2 coats. So it would be something like she'd go in the morning and get 1 coat, and then she'd go back in the evening and get 1 coat the day before the show. So we will take that as definite feedback. That is an easy fix. But it's just a little different. Coming here competing here, that's something that was really kind of threw both of us for a loop, that you don't even think about the difference there. And it does just make challenge. It's an added challenge because in the States it's so easy to get your tan. Here it's just a little bit there. Yeah. So, but yeah, and then the other feedback, it's all doable stuff. And was there any like other kind of cool experiences about the stage and about competing in Japan that you want to share?
Well, I met 2 ladies actually backstage. I don't know if they're gonna watch this or not, but they flew in from Australia.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to have somebody else that spoke English backstage with us and shared in the same type of judging criteria that went on. Other than that, I don't know if it's just because he was an American judge or not, but every FWJ show I've been to or competed in since last year, they make us walk the stage. And that was something I didn't even do once this show, so that was interesting. Except for for the pro qualifier or the pro show, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
The regional show we did do a whole lot of walking.
But he didn't judge the U.S. judge didn't judge the regional show. It was local Japanese judges that judged the regional show.
Yeah.
Which again, she took her first, so
they didn't give awards out because they didn't do like a whole award ceremony for that because they didn't want it to be unfair to the show that was like the next day, which still I don't know what their thought process was there. So me and Hailey do not have anything but little participation medals for participation medals for our winnings. But the scorecards are posted, so we know what's what.
Yeah.
I think for that show I had 16 girls in my class, which is pretty.
For the regional? Mm-hmm. I think you had 30. Remember? Because it was total. It was the whole.
Oh yeah, it was everybody.
It was everybody together.
Okay.
So she had 30. There was more competition than she thought. But again, this is Kristin. She gets on stage and I don't think there is any. The blinders go up, and so it was just a really cool thing, and a lot of times competitors experience that. Like as soon as you take that step on stage, it's like everything else kind of fades away and you're in your zone. And
I
people
always
either
walk
love
off
it
and like,
or they
where
don't.
was I?
Yeah.
Where was the box?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was next to the box. Like how many girls were to my left and how many were to my right? I never know. And then I have to always go back and look at all the pictures and videos. Yeah, Hailey was actually backstage that whole time with me, and she got some pretty cool shots and videos of me in the top 4 group coming off and back on. So that was cute to have Hailey there.
Yeah, it was super cute. She was a good one to have backstage.
Yeah.
She's so fun. But also, competing in Japan in general is a really cool experience. They do run really good shows. They're very orderly. They're very calm. Like there's no craziness backstage at all. So it's really been super cool. I mean, we both competed in the States, and I feel like shows vary quite often based on where you are in the States, and you get a lot of different experiences. Here, our experience is so consistent show to show, and so once you've been to one, you really know what to expect in all of the other ones. There might be little adjustments based on what they do with you once you're on stage, but as far as how the show is run, it's like so they run them really well. So if you're here in Japan and if you're watching this and you're tempted or want to compete, please, we highly recommend. It's a great experience. And reach out to us. We are here to, there's a language barrier, so there are some things that are a little bit different that you just, can be a little intimidating when you're trying to get into it. But reach out to us even if you're not our client. We love to support, the federation here and getting people to compete. It's very good.
I wish these would have been my first shows.
I know. Yeah.
But there's always 1,000 bikini girls and 1,000 men's physique guys.
Yes.
So it's really funny to watch the little expediters, which are the people that line you up backstage to get you on. Because all the bikini girls are always like pumping up, and they're like, bing, 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 oh, I gotta get my cookies and they're just like, no, it's 40 seconds, stay in line. It's like they shuttle these little kids
And they're always so polite and so sweet about it, and they make sure everybody's where they need to be, even if there's a language barrier and you don't quite understand. They make sure that they communicate with you, and
they can tell you're an American, so they'll get somebody that heard you just speak all this Japanese to interpret what was just said. Usually we can decipher what they're saying because we've been in show business for so long.
Show business. Look at us. Show business.
We can kind of understand what it is they're trying to tell you what to do and not do.
Also, the competitors, though, like your fellow competitors here, are really nice. Like, we haven't had any issues where, so like if one of the people are trying to direct us and they're speaking in Japanese, if there is another competitor that speaks English, they always step up and help. Like, they are always more than welcome. And the Japanese competitors themselves, like the bikini girls and the figure girls that we've experienced, have all been very receptive. You know, they'll use translator apps to try to communicate with you. They'll want to take pictures with you. They give you treats after the show. Like, they're just really sweet. So all in all, it's been a really, really cool experience. And now I've got a question for Kristin. After that, do you think you'll compete again in your time here in Japan?
The coach once told me this was a one and done, but I think we're gonna do November. I know we're gonna do November.
So if you have watched along, you've heard me say, nope, she's gonna take the rest of the year off. She's gonna take the rest of the year off. I've said that repeatedly. However, after this show, and kind of just given how she's already like 1 week out, reverse out, and her feelings, I do think we're gonna go for November.
Yeah.
It gives us 6 months. I think we have a pretty good plan for it. I think that it's going to be an amazing show.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Amateur Olympia again, the one that I did and won my pro card in last year. They're doing it at a different venue this year, and it looks amazing. So like, just for that, the fact that like she will still be here and she has that opportunity to do that show again, and just where she's sitting, I don't feel like it's going to be bad for her health. Mentally was a little bit of a concern as far as just where she was at, but she was really the one that kind of was like, I think I really want to do it. I'm really ready, and so we'll give it a shot. And then they leave Japan next year, so you know, it kind of probably will be the last one that she has, which was what November was for me. I mean, I leave Japan in July of this year, so I knew the November show was my last one, my last show I do here. So it's like, we're gonna bring all we got. You know,
literally, it's gonna be everything.
Literally.
I think what mentally was like from last year though, I did 2 shows pretty much back to back, and then I hopped into that November show. This year we're just keeping it. I say 2 shows. Yes, I did back to back, but they were within 24 hours.
They were one peak. They were one peak. So she did, I think last year it was really hard for her she peaked 3 different times, and the first 2 times were close. They were like, we peaked her for a show, she had like 2 weeks, and then we had to start peaking her again for another show. And during that time, that was hard. That was
not ideal. Would not put a client through that.
It was hard for her. And then we were like, okay, well, we'll give you a little bit of a break for 3 months, and then we jumped right into prepping her for the November one too. Which I honestly think it ended up being fine too. Like, it wasn't. Kristin does really well with.
If we didn't have girls competing in the July show, I told Emily yesterday I would do it 100% just for fun. But I'm not doing that.
We've got a handful of girls that were really getting ready for that show. So
if I could just stay on stage every weekend, I'd be happy. But
it's gonna be kind of cool because we learned a lot from this show. Just a lot about like, what do we need to push? Were we capable of pushing Kristin in different aspects? And then also like, how do we peak her? What is the best way to peak her? And I think now we've tried 3 kind of different approaches over our time working together, and I think we've nailed it. I think we've got it. Like, we've figured it out.
my Sunday and Mondays videos.
Yeah. They were spot on. If she had been on stage during that time, you know, it's always like hindsight is, you know, whatever that saying is. But I do think there was potential for her to stay in the top 4 with how she had peaked Sunday and Monday. But you know, it's learning. It's all learning. Yep. We're growing and but then for November we're gonna push her hard.
Yeah. I'm excited. We'll do a whole other series for that.
Yes.
I'll do videos and stuff too. I know we had a lot of questions actually come in about the reverse. And speaking of that, I had a very non-traditional reverse week coming out of the show because my husband actually was sick, so I was stuck in ROM for like the first week post-show, so I really didn't have the ability to like go out and eat and indulge. So it actually kind of helped maybe, because all I was stuck with was rice and chicken and beef and a few candies. But yeah, my mindset was there anyways. I got back and I was like, I had 2 eggs and 2 toast and egg whites. So
right back to it. And awesome, like honestly, for a lot of our girls, we work with them reversing. And Hailey, she had her show on Friday, so we worked with her Saturday and Sunday. Her plan was to, give herself freedom to kind of have what she wanted. I suggested, and I suggest this to all the girls strongly, to try to still keep to her normal meal timing. So she was doing, I believe it was 4 meals and then like a workout meal. So to keep to at least having 4 set meal timings. What immediately post-show, what can get people into a lot of like digestion discomfort, because you're very quickly adding foods back in that you're not used to. But also you're used to eating set meals and not snacking in between. And so when someone, that immediate time after the show, when they're just like eating and they'll snack all day long or things like that, that ends up doing more damage than, I say damage, that ends up being really causing more of a struggle for them than if they had eaten the same amount of food but kept it into like 4 set meals. So she had 2 days where she got a little bit flexibility while we were still in Tokyo to try things and to really enjoy herself. And then the plan was, once we started traveling, was for her to have 4 set meals, go right back to those 4 set meals, and then come Monday, it was back to having more guidance with meals, but having 1 meal kind of free. But then she is going to go for another show. So we took her pretty much right back to her plan. And I think the sooner you can do that, the better your reverse is. The more time you give yourself to kind of eat whatever you want and really just like enjoy post-show, the harder it is to get back and rein things back in after. Whereas opposed, if you, right after show, stick to 4 meals, stick to some of the guided outlines that you had been doing during prep, but then add in these like 1 or 2 untracked or more snack things or treat things. If you slowly add them back in, so over a length of 4 weeks, you're eating all the things you missed, but you're doing it in a slow integration, your body reverses so much better. Yeah, instead of just like, so that's something that both me and Kristin experienced clearly after November, was that I think both of us reversed so well out of that show because of that. We had planned nights that we were going out, or meals that we knew we were going to really indulge or enjoy ourselves with, and so we stuck to structure for the rest of the day, and it caused the reverse to be such a better experience. So that's what we guide all of our clients through. That's what, Kristin kind of was forced into that with being in ROM. But even now, like, she's gotten over the hump of the immediate, 5-6 days post-show, so it'll be easier for her to stick to that moving forward. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm hungry and it's time to eat.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. please, this will be the end of this series, but we will start just a general information series, so we can talk about things. We have one planned for how to eat at convenience stores around Japan. There's these awesome things called Family Mart and Lawson's, where even on a prep you can find like golden meals that are just fit everything. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about just how we prep our meals and how we keep them, I don't know, good for us. Yeah, like how we do our meal preps and keep them not like
Fresh
we want to
and
like
yummy.
yeah exactly. And then we can talk more about reversing if you have specific questions on that, and then anything else in general about competing or mind frame around food or training or any of those things, please ask, and we will do episodes on all of those things.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.